All right, let's get right into it. After a year just packed with AI hype, you've got to ask, who's actually winning the race for your attention? And maybe more importantly, what does their game plan tell us about where all this is headed? We're going to break down the entire 2025 consumer AI landscape and figure out who really came out on top.
So who was winning the AI war? I mean, this was the question of 2025, right? It felt like every single week, the tech giants, we're talking mainly OpenAI and Google here, just unleash this tidal wave of new models, new features, new apps, all of them fighting for a slice of the mainstream pie. And let me tell you, the stakes are ridiculously high. All the early signs are pointing to a classic winner-take-most market. Get this, only 9% of people are actually willing to pay for more than one major AI assistant. 9%. So what that really means is, if you can grab a user early, you might just lock them in for good.
Okay, so let's check out the AI leaderboard. It's really a tale of two giants. And when you look at just the raw numbers, the weekly active users, wow, ChatGPT is the clear king of the hill. We're talking somewhere between 800 and 900 million weekly users. That's just massive. Now, Gemini is putting up a good fight, for sure, but they're still only at about 35% of that scale. And everyone else, they're basically just a blip on the radar. But, and this is a big but, the growth story tells a completely different tale. So yeah, ChatGPT grew 23% year over year, which is solid, nothing wrong with that. But Gemini is on an absolute rocket ship. Their user base exploded by 155%. So anyone who thinks this race is already over is just not paying attention.
And this right here is Gemini's biggest problem. ChatGPT has basically become the Kleenex of AI. You know, it's the default. It's the name people use even when they're talking about other AIs. Overcoming that kind of brand power, that is a monumental task.
So let's talk viral models and strategies. This is the fight for what's next.
You know, what's really interesting is that the stuff that went truly viral this year, it wasn't about text. It was all about images and video. Remember that Ghibli moment from OpenAI's image model? Absolutely beautiful. And the crazy realistic stuff coming out of Sora 2 and Google's Veo V3. And then, of course, there was Google's Nano Banana. That thing was a legit cultural phenomenon. And this really shows you the core product philosophies, which are totally different. OpenAI's approach was basically put it all in ChatGPT. So things like Pulse, group chats, tasks, everything got integrated into that one main interface. Google, meanwhile, did the opposite. They were all about launching standalone apps and websites for their new toys.
But look, it wasn't just about making pretty pictures. The AI's ability to actually reason took a huge leap forward. Still, we're not quite there yet. Take this Monopoly board test, for example. The idea is simple. You give it a photo of a Monopoly board, tell it to remove the property names, and then replace them with the names of AI labs. The tricky part, it has to place them all correctly without any mistakes. And honestly, even the best models really struggled with this kind of multi-step task. It just goes to show how hard complex problem-solving still is.
Okay, so not everything worked. And a really big story this year was the social AI misstep. It was basically a problem of motivation.
And I mean, OpenAI really tried to crack social. They threw everything at the wall. They had Pulse, their proactive assistant. They had group chats. They even turned Sora 2 into a social feed. But none of it stuck. They just couldn't get any real sustained traction.
But here's a fascinating take on it. Sora's competition isn't actually TikTok. It's actually CapCut. And that just nails it, right? It wasn't that Sora failed. It's that it succeeded as an unbelievable creative tool, not as a social network. Think of it like CapCut, but on steroids.
And this gets to the heart of the problem. Why do we use social apps? It's about connecting with other people. It's a human status game. And that whole game just falls apart when everyone knows the content is made by an AI. There's no skill, no authenticity, no status. The whole reason for being there kind of evaporates.
All right, let's meet the challengers. This isn't just about the two big guys. There are some really interesting niche plays and big ambitions out there.
And each of these challengers has a very specific game plan. You've got Claude, which is really owning the hyper-technical user, the person who needs complex workflows. Then there's Perplexity, which is building these beautiful prosumer interfaces. Meta AI is all about media segmentation, which is just a fancy way of saying it's getting amazing at picking out and editing specific things in photos and videos. And then you have Grok, which is just moving at an incredible speed, especially in entertainment. So, what's coming in 2026? Let's talk mega models and startup opportunities. First prediction, the rise of the mega model. The idea here is anything in, anything out. We're talking about one giant single model that can take text, images, video, audio, anything you throw at it, and create any kind of output you want. Just imagine feeding it a raw video and getting a perfectly polished presentation back. That's where we're going.
Second prediction is the enterprise push. Get this. ChatGPT's use in businesses is growing 8 to 9 times year over year. That's explosive. And what happens when a tool becomes essential for your job? You start using it for everything. The line between work and personal AI use is just going to completely blur.
And this quote is so important. Building opinionated products is a very risky way to manage your career at big tech. This points to a huge structural weakness in the big labs. It's safer to make small, safe updates than it is to take a big, bold swing. And that creates a massive opening for startups. Startups that can be focused, that can have a strong opinion, and that can move fast.
And this has created something you almost never see in consumer tech: net revenue retention over 100%. What that means, in simple terms, is that these companies are making more money from their existing users each year. How? Because of usage-based pricing. The power users, the ones getting tons of value, end up paying way more than just their basic subscription fee. It's a super powerful business model.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. Here are today's key takeaways.
So let's do a quick debrief of 2025. We saw the big story was ChatGPT's massive scale versus Gemini's insane growth. The stuff that really went viral was all the creative media models. AI reasoning got a lot better, but it's still not perfect. And while the giants fought it out, challengers started carving out really smart niches. All of this has created a huge opportunity for startups heading into 2026. Which really leaves us with the big question for the next era, doesn't it? Who is going to define what comes next? Is it going to be the giant labs with their incredible scale? Or is it going to be the startups, the ones with the strong, focused opinions that the big guys are too scared to build? It's really anyone's game.